Good day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan battle video. In this video we are taking a look at the performance of the LR Hit and Super Saiyan God Goku unit in the Universal Survival Saga Esbr. So the Universal Survival Saga Esbr is probably one of the harder brand new Esbr or Extreme Super Battle Road stages that have come out on Dbz Dokkan Battle Global, and the LR Hit and God Goku unit are one of the numerous Universal Survival Saga leads. So what we're going to do is we're going to try them out in this stage. Now, just a full disclaimer, these guys hit pretty hard. A lot of the Universal Survival Saga units that tank really well in this stage are units that have various gimmicks, things like damage reduction, guarding against all types, evasion, and because of that, the stage has been attuned accordingly. Because you have so many powerful defensive units, the stage has been adjusted to represent that. So we'll take a look. Hit and God Goku had about 150k defense, very solid amount there. And they're going to do some decent damage here as well. We are going to pair them up with Hit and try them out in the first slot. What you will see throughout the course of this video is how their passive, that first attacker portion of their passive, is pretty troublesome for them. Honestly, it causes them quite a few problems. You can see here in this situation how they've managed to get some evasion off, obviously in the second slot. If you are going to run these guys, honestly, I can only say that they are way more preferable in the second slot for Esbr than they are in the first slot. They're just so much better defensively. You're going to see quite a few times how they take quite a lot of damage, by getting attacked before they activate that additional defense and that evasion. And it's very unavoidable because in a Esbr, a lot of the times the enemy will attack before you end up managing to, go through and activate your full passive. So yeah, that's clearly a problem that they face, but on the most part they handle the stage very well. They do fantastic damage, so very good damage, high damage dealer, which is good. Works on this team. They definitely could beat this stage. We won't be beating it this time, but they definitely can beat this stage. When paired with Hit, they have close to 200k defense as well, which is obviously very good. So they definitely can handle the stage. Honestly, the real question is just a little bit of luck on the super attacks that hit them before they can activate their full defense and their evasion. Once they activate their full defense and their evasion, they're very good. Now 200k is not a minute amount of defense. Don't get me wrong, it is a perfectly acceptable amount of defense. It's just that there are those times where they get unlucky, and when they take that damage, it can cause them some real problems, and that's really the big issue. It's just that they can't seem to, most units can't just take super attacks, even with items in this stage. The Universal Survival Saga stage is a highly tuned stage, and so it is challenging for most units overall. Other things obviously bring to the party is their stun that we've mentioned before. Their stun is quite helpful, especially when paired up with Hit. Obviously the ability to stun multiple units is great, helps out tremendously. Also enables Hit to access his full damage, which is also always a plus as well, because Hit is another fantastic damage dealing unit. The only real shame is that I would have liked if they were on Universe 6 and representatives of Universe 7. I know it's a hard sell considering the unit and the way it's built, but it would have really helped because you could activate Hit's full passive, which honestly is one of the best mechanisms to have for this stage. So here we go, we've got the pair that we want, Hit and the Goku and Hit. You can see their 212k defense, pretty solid, honestly not bad in any way, shape or form, or in any respect to any, 212,000 defense in the first turn of a fight with the ability for it to still go up substantially in the fight is very good. And the fact that they can die from a super attack in the stage speaks more about the difficulty of the stage than it does about their deficiencies as a unit. I mean, 36,000 damage, all because they haven't yet to activate their full passive. Like, watch this. Watch as they fire off their super attack. They will now have their evasion. They will have additional defense. They will raise their defense because of their super. And you'll see that, in those situations, that's where that first attacker mechanism is so bad for them as a unit. In those situations, which is very specific, like you may have a run where that never happens, but you can just see how much damage they take from units. It is incredible the amount of damage that they take when they get supered before they activate their full passive. It is ridiculous, and it's just not because they're bad either. I mean, 200k defense is a lot of defense. It's just that the stage hits very, very hard. The unfortunate thing as well, of course, just obviously from their perspective, is that evasion also not kicking in. I think if their evasion was just permanent and maybe the additional defense and attack kicked in, that would also be fine. I think they need that evasion, and this stage itself is clearly designed for units that are not going to be hit, or when they are hit are going to have damage reduction or guard against all types or something like that, because the amount the units hit here is just ridiculous. I mean, there's no ways, barring maybe this Kale with damage reduction items, there's no ways that anyone's going to survive 3 or 4 super attacks from units in this stage when each one is doing 400k on a type neutral attack. It's just not, it's not possible. So it's clearly designed for the high level of evasion units, the units like UI Goku, MUI Goku, Int UI Goku, the physical UI Goku. There are so many units, Kefla, that have these super high levels of evasion, Caulifla, and that they had to kind of design the stage around that, on the notion that when they do hit you, they want to hit you hard. It does just affect some units worse than others. But obviously we have an item active here, so we'll test how they go. Not going to activate any more items. They do have the additional defense. So again, like, we shouldn't see them take huge damage from a normal. Here in this situation, they should be fine. They deal out some fantastic damage. Yet again, great damage dealing, and very unlucky with their tanking. They could definitely be tanking a lot better. But yeah, very, very good performance so far. Get the stun from hit, and then now we're sitting in a pretty decent situation, I want to say. We're looking really quite solid. So overall, they're good. I think they're really good. It's a very hard stage to judge them on. And as a first slot tank, maybe not their preference. Ideally, what we had in that first turn is probably the best situation for them. You have Caulifla or someone very strong like Kale sitting in that first slot, and then that will enable you to obviously have Hit and Goku in the second slot, which means their full passive will be active the entire time, which is very solid. Obviously brings the evasion, brings the additional attack, brings the additional defense, and would just make them a lot better overall defensively, and just make them a little bit more reliable. That being said, though, the fact that they can't tank in that first slot is not really a slight on them. Like I said, the fact that they have 250k defense pretty much, and are still taking damage on type attacks, is just ridiculous. So, I mean, look here, we're gonna activate a U.S.S, which is the highest damage reduction item in the game. Goku's going to super us, and we are going to die because we do not have full health. Like, that is how bad how hard these enemies hit. But yeah, overall thoughts, I think they're great. If you do have them, they're a very culpable unit to use for the stage. Their stun is very helpful and they do a very high level of damage. The only shame is that they pair really well with Hit, but they do not activate his full passive either. But that's going to be it from me, guys. Leave a comment or a like on the video if you enjoyed it, or let me know what you think in the comments down below. Otherwise, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Until then, bye.